Hello, I'm Phil and this is Octopus Design. I'm going to take you through one of my colouring pages. These are the markers that I use. I use Ohuhu Honolulu markers because I've done some research into colouring and they seem to be the best option for the best price. So first, choose your page. Secondly, place a A4 piece of paper underneath the page that you're colouring so the bleed doesn't go through onto another page. This colouring book is quite a nice design. It's got each page on a separate page so you don't ruin the picture underneath, and it's got lots of really positive messages in it, so quite nice when you're colouring. I firstly choose different colours. I've not really studied too much the colour wheel, which I will do for future videos. I think this one does actually turn out quite nicely in the end. There's a few errors at the end which I will talk you through when we get there. So yes, I firstly choose 4 or 5 different colours that I like the look of, that I think work well together. Like I say, you can usually eyeball this, or if you want to work with the colour wheel you can see what works best for you. As this is a nice sunny scene with flowers, a smiley sunflower in the middle, I've gone with brighter colours. I do add some darker colours soon, but I think they do complement each other. I've used 2 yellows, now I've tested another yellow for the centre of the sunflower. I think this works well. The 3 different yellows actually do look good together. I think I should have gone over this centre sun a little more, give it another pass. Usually wait for it to dry and then pass over with the same colour again. That'll give it a bit more of a bolder appearance, and as you can see it's looked a little streaky. So yes, that's an error that I will probably fix in future videos. As you can see, I've gone a little darker. I've chosen a purple, and I have used the red that I use for the hearts to fill in the letters with the dots on them. I've done this because the letters with the dots remind me of a ladybird, and I do colour in the dots in a black to give that effect. I'm using long broad strokes for these large areas. That is a good technique that people use to sort of make the larger areas less streaky. I think I should have probably used it with the sun. It's a little harder to use the technique on rounded cut edges because you have to fill, if the ink doesn't bleed then you might have to go over those little bits again. As you can see, when I'm near the dots and near the edges of the diagonals of the K, you have to sort of run the pen again along the edges of the letter. This is one of the yellows I used for the sun. I think repetition of colour helps in your colouring. It's probably best not to use too many different colours for each page, although I do end up with quite a collection towards the end. I do like throwing in a few darker colours. As you can see, the yellow does work quite nicely with the red. again, check out a few different colour greens, using sort of lighter ones for the leaves of the tulips. Again, I think I should have gone over the leaves again. They do end up looking a little streaky, but this is only my second video and only my first proper colouring page that I've done. Ones that I've bought. I've actually done my own. I've got one more video on here, which is one of my own mandala patterns, which are available from my Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's, I say Ko-Fi, could be supposed to be pronounced Coffee because it's part of the sort of Buy Me a Coffee network. So yeah, again, I'm using similar colours to those I've already used. A nice orange for the flowers, and I use a yellow as well. I think I will, in my next video, because I'm learning obviously, move my pens to the other side of the video screen because I am right-handed. Every time I tried to like put my hand to the right hand side of the page, I was getting blocked by the pens and yeah, it was quite uncomfortable colouring. And the best thing for colouring is to be as comfortable as possible. It is something that people use, me included, as a relaxing thing, so the less hindered you are, the more relaxed you are. Again, I've used the orange and the yellow for all of the flowers that are scattered around the edge. The uniformity works, I think. I got a bit darker with some dark purples. Wasn't too happy with the centre of the flower in the top left, but I will get better at colour choosing in the future. So this is one of the hard parts. I had to try to choose a nice blue. I thought that would be the best colour to complement the other colours in the picture. Sorry about the video, I don't know why it does that. I think it's probably a focus issue. I'll try to figure that out for the next video. This is one of the things that I would change next time, definitely. I start off quite small strokes, not heeding my own advice or others' advice to do long strokes. I remedied this a little bit further on in the background. You'll be able to see that this top left hand corner of it does look a bit streaky, much worse than the rest of the page. Possibly a solution to that would be to go over the whole thing again, thickening up the whole of the background. But as you can see here, I do start to use the technique of long strokes. It does become difficult because you have all the different objects blocking your strokes, so it's colouring fast enough to not allow the previous marker application to dry. So when you do put your next line down, the inks bleed into each other. Otherwise it does end up looking quite streaky. So as you can see from this bottom bit already, it looks better doing the longer strokes. The middle section is definitely the best section, and the end section, again, it ends up looking a little streaky. Like I say, I will, next time I do this, I will put down one layer like I'm doing now, and then I will maybe turn the page and go over the whole lot in the opposite direction, as a sort of taking the cross-hatching technique into like the colouring, but do it such that everything joins together rather than sort of like separating the cross-hatches. Like I say, as you can see, the bottom bit and the middle bit here looks much better than the top left hand corner. I think the blue does complement the rest of the colours and it makes them stand out. One thing you may notice is at this moment in time I'm not using sort of just my fingers to do this. I'm sort of using all of my fingers rather than just the tips. That given me a much more control over the sort of stroke action. You'll see in a second that at the end, when I'm doing these longer things, I'll use my whole arm to move. So I'll move from here. I'm sort of moving from the wrist, but here coming up, I'll be moving from, like as you can see, I'm sort of moving all of my arm to get the strokes. There we go. So long strokes using the whole arm, keep the whole pen steady and only move my arm. I'm not the best sitter at the moment, but the more I do this and the more I use this technique, the more control I'm going to have. But you get a lot more control if you, for certain parts, you use certain parts of your hand. Almost forgot to fill in the middle of the D here, so I had to go back. This, again, I tried to drop a shadow underneath the some parts of it. I used a slightly darker blue. It wasn't a much darker, it was just slightly darker. I think it started off okay, but I think I got a bit carried away and I started using all of the all of the sections of it. So if I'd have just left it to one side, maybe it may have worked better. Again, I probably wouldn't do this next time. It's a mistake I've learnt from, and that's why we're here, and that's why I'm doing these videos, to help me learn from my mistakes and to give you indications of where maybe you think you're going wrong, and it's a journey we're all on together. Excuse the head. Again, a little drop shadow, just where the K and the N overlap the I and the D. I tried with the red, but that didn't really show up. I do like this part of the tulip. It gives it a bit of depth, and again with the heart, it gives a bit of depth. Okay, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you, bye bye.